Hello, everyone. Today is an important day or a special day, but I'll tell you about that later.
Oh, come on. Tell us now.
I think today I'm going to speak about the fear of rejection. It's such a big fear. Everyone has it. And it's something that people talk about all the time. And it's always behind everything that a lot of people do. And have you overcome it? Or are you there? Or are you preventing yourself from doing things because of that? Anyway, let's speak. I'm Carina from Break Fear and Find Freedom. And of course, my awesome Dino.
Hey, Carina.
How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. So what does it feel to be rejected, huh?
Yeah.
It's probably everybody's nightmare growing up, right? When you want to ask somebody to prom and you're like, well, what if they say no? Or do they like me or did they like me? You know, stuff like that. Your hands are sweating and you're all nervous and your heart's beating and all that. That, as soon as you were bringing that up, that to me was like the ultimate fear of rejection, you know, for me. Because you're at an awkward age and you just don't know what to, you know, I wasn't like outwardly, you know, with people. I was very shy, believe it or not. And,
wow.
Yeah, right. And you know, I mean, you know, everybody is afraid of that. But I'm sure you're not talking about prom, are you? You're talking about something. So go on. By the way, what the hell's the surprise? Come on.
Do I really have to tell you now? Can we not wait a little bit?
All right. All right. Go ahead.
It's a big surprise. Okay, so I'm thinking fear of rejection of everything, right? So you fear like me, I'm on my pre whatever book. What if people hate the book, right? Right. So what if people reject my book when it comes out, when it gets launched in the next few weeks? What happens then? Are you going
through that stuff seriously? Is that what you're really worried about?
No. What if you put out something on social media and you get rejected? What happens then? So it's really about what happens. It's mostly something in your head, as usual. What happens if you want to ask someone for coffee? Like, hey, cool, let's go for coffee, and you get rejected. It's all about rejection and the fear of doing things, and you stop yourself and you get stuck because you might be rejected by that person or by an event or by a whole lot of people. Does that make sense?
This is very interesting because full disclosure, I've been kind of sheltered for the last 40 years. I mean, the things that you're talking about, like the personal things, inviting somebody for coffee, I've never done because I was always busy. I was always busy with work. So these are like cool things that where I'm actually thinking while you're talking, what if I invited somebody for coffee and they said, no, I don't think so. I'm not interested. Would it bother me? Nothing bothers me now, Carina. But you know, right. I mean, growing up, it's certainly something to consider. You know, again, fear of rejection, you know, we could talk about it that way, but I think it might be more interesting to talk about fear of rejection equals lack of confidence. And I know we talk in detail about this on many, 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 many shows, but the fear of confidence, I mean, when you're confident, you can do things, you feel like you could bend a bar of steel. I mean, you feel like you can jump like 100 miles in the air. It's just a weird mindset that is just completely awesome. It's off the charts. It's hard to explain any other way. And you may not always be confident, but the overwhelming time, the majority of the time, if you keep practicing, you will be more confident than not. Okay.
Yes.
Let me give you, if I can, let me give you my day this morning, if I can. I know I'm going to bore the viewers. There's a point to this. Just pay attention. Okay. So I had to do three things today. And one, of course, is the new thing where, I wake up in the morning and I respond to as many people on social media as I can. Sober Motivation, that group, obviously very, very important. I take care of that first. I do my posts, and then I go into the friends, and interact that way. Now, I told on the last show, I interact. I don't just gloss over and do hearts and likes and worried emojis and stuff like that. So through going with that, there were two people. They're not friends like from years. They're just Facebook friends, probably less than 2 months old Facebook friends. Mm. And they both messaged me about how they love my posts and how, I'm inspiring them and, all that stuff. And I have no idea who these people are, right? But I'm just like, well, you know what? Thank you very much. It's in everybody. We all have this and blah, blah, blah. And I said, right now I'm focused on my foundation and just getting exposure and awareness for the cause. Mm-hmm. Both people that I'm talking to like that, one of them is the president of the Women's Association in Chicago, the Greek Women's Association in Chicago, which is made up of 5,000 business owners, women business owners that have gotten together. They're 5,000 strong. They're proud. They're motivated. And they thought it would be wonderful if they can invite me to Chicago for them to do a fundraiser for me, to invite 5,000 of their members.
Wow, it's pretty cool.
As long as I do a book signing and as long as I can speak. I'm like, you're on. The second person that I'm talking, and by the way, this is actually happening, okay? So I have to work out the details next week, figure out a time and place and whatever. The second person that I was talking to turns out to be the head of 698 people in a group called pickleball, Hellenic pickleball. Full disclosure, I have no idea what pickleball is, except that it's huge and it's sweeping the country. Do you play with a pickle?
What is that?
You know what? Look it up, because I'm going to look it up after the show. I have no idea. But what got me is it's the people that are practicing to get into the Olympics.
Oh, it's in the Olympics?
698 people. Again, same thing. We'd love to host a fundraiser and we'd love the exposure and, all that stuff.
Nice,
right?
Nice.
That's before I left the house. Started at 4:30 in the morning. By the way, and somebody also finally came to their senses this morning. And I'm very, very proud of them. They were the ones that were saying, well, I'm a social drinker. Well, I don't have a problem. Well, maybe after this family function that's coming up, whatever. And, you try and be patient and you try and work with them and whatever. And all of a sudden, 4:30 this morning, she's like, I need help. Check me into rehab. So that was,
wow, that's awesome.
4:30 that says, oh my God, I need a cup of coffee. Come to my world, because this is the best coffee you can have. This is like rocket fuel. So we had the girl, we had the pickleball people. Sorry, pickleball people. And then we have the 5,000 business women's association. And then I had to make an errand and I had to run to the bank. It was a new bank, new surroundings, whatever. So I sit down, I'm doing my transaction with one of the guys. The branch manager comes walking in and starts talking to me. And within, I don't know, less than 10 minutes, we're working out plans for her to have an event for me so that people could come to the bank, balloons, entertainment, all kinds of stuff for my fundraiser for the foundation.
Oh, it's a pretty awesome morning you had, right?
This is just today. And guys, I'm not showing off. I'm not showing off. I'm more excited like a 7-year-old than like Mr. Bragg, Commander McBragg. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying what a wonderful state of mind coming from the same guy that less than 6 months ago was freaking out and was doubting his own abilities. Is my book, Carina, is my book going to be okay? Is there life after the book? Is this all I'm going to be? Am I going to be a, what's his name? Patterson, whatever his name is. And now, less than 6 months later, the state of mind has changed, literally completely, where I can walk into any situation with no premeditative motive whatsoever and go in and just be liked and be loved and be warm and be sincere. And people just open up. What do you do? Loaded question. I say, I'm retired. I have a foundation. Oh, really? What kind of foundation? I tell them. And I tell them the truth. I'm a recovering addict. And that's what prompted me to start this foundation. Well, that's wonderful. And then they all run into their little, cubicles and they probably Google me. And then they came, the Google thing, okay. I have an advantage there. But again, this is stuff that anybody can have, this interaction, if you're confident. So if somebody said, well, no, it's not really what we do, or no, there are laws against us helping you, or whatever the case may be, that would be, obviously, to your point, a form of rejection, right?
Right.
To be real honest with you, it wouldn't faze me right now. It wouldn't faze me. Is it ever going to faze me? Probably. Has it fazed me in the past? Yes. The difference is your state of mind. When you're confident, this stuff doesn't bother you at all. I'd like to say as much, but I'm being just very genuine right now, saying at all.
Is it really just confidence, or is it more like an internal thing? Because there's one thing you can have confidence and put it out there, but it can be just external, right? Whereas if you really believe in yourself and you really love yourself enough, you can go out and you can attract that. And it feels different where you say, you know what, I don't care. When you were saying, I was having a conversation with someone yesterday, and, we were talking about clothes and what people wear. And I love wearing shorts, especially here. It's like so cool. The best time of the year, right? And people will say to me, like,
plug in your city, Reeve. It's so warm out here. All right, we get it.
That's beautiful. I'm already wearing shorts.
It's nice weather. We get it. We wear shorts here too, Carina. Don't worry about it. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, what I was saying, and someone said something to me, and I said, well, you know what? This is the way I am. If you like it, it's like that. If you don't like it, well, don't look. I don't care. But I think it's a self-belief kind of thing, more than just confidence. It's like an internal thing where I can really say, you know what, I don't care what you think.
Then there's got to be two types of confidence. If you really want to get technical, because, confidence for me is just knowing exactly who I am.
Yes.
Exactly what I'm about. Saying. Exactly my mission. That's confidence. That's outer and inner confidence. You're talking about confidence like, I read my sales script and I'm confident I'm going to close the next person who comes through that door. That's external confidence. You may not even believe that internally. I don't know. But mine is inside, just oozing outside.
Yes.
That's my confidence.
Yes.
Where really, this can't keep happening. I got to get rejected sooner or later. and I'm prepared for it. It's okay. But right now, I'm kind of on a roll. You know what I mean? It's just wind me up, put me somewhere, and boom, it's the most interesting conversation with the most interesting people from all walks of life, all backgrounds, all different, by the way, opportunities. I mean, you saw a recent post where we had that Caldwell banker.
Yes, it was very cool.
So wait a minute. You're doing books. You got a foundation. Caldwell banker. What? And then there was that article about me looking into the productions in the movie and television industry, which that is being worked out right now. It's lawyer, and we're working out the contract. So that's very real.
Nice.
So how does a book guy, a foundation guy, a real estate developer guy, and a production guy in TVs and movies, what do they all have in common? Confidence. You know what I mean? I mean, they all sound great. And instead of pigeonholing me into one specific area and say, well, I'm a writer now, so I got to be real serious about writing, or I'm in the foundation now, so I got to be real serious about the foundation. There are no rules here.
Right.
There are no rules. So what I'm saying is I can literally do whatever. What is that? I don't know.
It's your computer. It sounds like alerts or something.
It's the foundation computer. That's going to go on. Want me to turn it off? I could.
Maybe you should.
Yeah. All right. Hang on, folks. I'll be right back.
In the meanwhile, I'll talk about the differences in confidence and how confidence.
This would have been a good time for a commercial.
Exactly.
We didn't have time. Sorry about that. It was almost 700 messages for the foundation. I'll look at them later. Careful.
Well, that's a very good thing as well.
It's a great thing. It's a great thing. No, I mean, you know what? Like, I'm kidding. I like this right now. I love being, I don't know, it may seem overwhelmed, you know, the look sometimes, but it's not. I mean, it's a good tire. It's a good feeling to have purpose again. I mean, you're talking to a guy that's been like kind of like out of the loop for nearly 2 years, you know, and just to wake up and be able to see things very, very clearly and come out of it, snap out of it. This is just like a completely foreign environment, and everything to me is new. The internet's new, social media is new, businesses are new. They develop differently. The thinking is different. The demographics are different. This is all new stuff to me. The only thing I'm carrying with me is the ethics, the hard work, being a person of your word. If they could do it, I could do it. The stuff that I learned a long, long time ago from a great mentor and friend. Everything else is new to me. So I really don't have an advantage anymore where somebody could say, well, you know this stuff. I don't know anything. I didn't know how my codes to hook up my TV wireless. You know what I mean? So anybody could do this.
Well, that's also about having the open mind. And again, because you're not afraid of being rejected, you just go forward and you see the opportunities and you just go and explore them. And that's what makes it all exciting. And again, it is about the confidence and about, for me, about, you don't even think about being rejected. It's not even a thought in your head. So you know what, it doesn't matter.
Let me ask you,
it's very cool.
You've had jobs in the past that you have an employer, have you?
A few. I've mostly worked on my own most of the time as well.
All right, you're not helping me out with this.
Okay. Well, a few.
No, okay, so a few.
A few.
At any time when you were working for somebody else, were you ever, excuse me, were you ever afraid of being fired?
No.
Okay. I don't even know what that feeling is.
No,
But
I knew at a point that it was time to finish, because it was like, oh, this is not working for me because I'm not growing, I'm not learning. It's time to move on.
But that's your choice. That's your choice.
Yes, that was my choice. Never.
Were you ever worried that you were performing substandard work, or which would warrant somebody to say, hey, you know what? She's either not performing or she's showing up late or leaving early, and you would be fired.
No, it's about ethics again. Like, I mean, I also believe in a good work ethic. I also believe in my word is my bond. I also believe that, you know what, you give your best to whatever you do, right?
Yeah.
So, no.
So that prospect never crossed your mind, nor mine. You'd be amazed how many people worry about getting fired. And I just can't understand why. I mean, you show up to work, right? You give all you have. If it's not 100%, a large percentage, let's say, just like everybody else on the planet who works for somebody, yet in the back of their mind, for some reason, they worry about getting fired. And I just could never grasp that idea.
If you're worried about something, it means that you're doing something, right? So if you're worried about something, you know that something's not right within your world. So
yeah, that's kind of what I mean. Initially, that's kind of what I was thinking. I was thinking like, okay, you know, you're not performing to the level that you can, right? You're just kind of dumbing it down and going along with almost like the bad example of using a postal worker. Hey, you're working too fast. You're making us look bad. This is a government job. You know, sort slower.
Yes.
I don't know if that's true, but you hear it enough. However, there are people that perform wonderfully, and they're still afraid of getting fired. In other words, their self-esteem or their confidence, there's something about that just makes them believe that they're not worthy of the job, not worthy of your love, not worthy of praise, not worthy of a compliment. I run into this a lot.
Yes.
And again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a life coach. I don't even know what I am. What am I? An inspirational motivator, let's call it. But you'll be amazed that, you know, if I compliment somebody or tell them, you know, great job, I admire what you're doing or something like that, they're almost like, stop that. I mean, come on, who am I? I'm like, who are you? You're bright, you're smart, you're wonderful, you're, you know, all these compliments. They don't receive those compliments very well. It's almost like they think you're lying to them. And I don't know where that comes from, but that's a big, I mean, we're talking about different levels of confidence. And remember, confidence is to me, it's the other side of, you know, like rejection. I mean, they kind of go hand in hand there. There's a lot of people out there that need a boost of self-belief. And there's a lot of people out there that need a boost of inspiration and motivation and praise. And a lot of the things that they don't get in person, ironically, they get a lot of that on social media, but it's so impersonal. It's a heart nowadays on social media can equal the same thing as human interaction, praise and confidence and, you know, good job, or you look great today, or, you know, whatever the case may be. It's resorted to a heart, you know, and it's so impersonal. You could see why a lot of people have those self-doubts that and lack confidence and stuff like that. I mean, you know, I don't know how else to explain it.
It goes back to a lot of it. I've experienced it a lot as well. When you say to someone, "Oh, you're looking really good," and they look at you and go, Why? No. Or they think that you have an ulterior motive. A lot of times people think that you're giving them a compliment because you have an ulterior motive. Or you expect something in return. And I only realize that now, because I've never been like that. If I like something, I say something. What you see is what you get. And you do things and you say things because you really mean them, and not with any expectations or expecting anything in return. And yet I learned it here when I came here. A lot of that is this like, why are you telling me this? Or this paranoia, or I don't know what it is. It's immediately become defensive.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
And
yes.
it's really very strange. I mean, you can't go anywhere as a man. You can't go anywhere today and just tell somebody you look beautiful today.
Yeah.
Or wow, you look hot. And they're like, either I know, or they think like, okay, the next thing is this guy's going to give me a one-liner and ask for my number. I can care less, but I just blurt things out. Like, I have no filter sometimes, but I don't mean anything by it. I mean, if somebody looks beautiful, you look beautiful, right? But they're so used to getting those compliments, just that, almost like a one-liner to get in. I mean, how else can you be? That's part of a defensive mechanism, But the sad part about that, when we're talking about confidence and stuff like that, they'll go out of their way to have this wall of this defensive mechanism, and they might overlook just a sincere, genuine person because their defenses are up, their wall is up,
Mm-hmm.
Just like with confidence, if you lack confidence, if you're afraid of getting rejected, you've lost half the battle. If you walk up to somebody and, you want to ask them for a raise, or you want to ask them for a loan, or you want to ask them if they can help you, whatever the case may be. If you start walking up to the person already thinking in your mind, why are they going to say yes? They're just going to say no. What's the point anyway? There's too many people looking around. Who am I kidding? Who am I? I'm going to go ask them. What are they going to say? Yes. By the time you go up there, you've already lost.
Right.
Because you're stinking of fear, and you may not even know it. But if it was me, I could smell it. I mean, you could smell fear.
Yes,
It's just a very strange thing. But, we don't have superpowers here, Carina. I just want to make sure that everybody knows. This is, senses that everybody has, everybody's experienced from time to time. We just vocalize it and break it down to kind of like the nth degree, to some ad nauseum, but to others, look, this is the stuff that makes you tick. This is the inner workings of yourself. You don't have a problem going out to your car if you like working on old cars and tinker around and oil things and fix gaskets and
right.
Man talk, well, I just changed the carburetor, whatever they do. I can't do anything on the car. But you don't have time, there's not enough time in the day to go out and fix fine tune your engine. But yet nobody seems to have time to focus on this engine. You got to fine tune that once in a while. Some people do it with deep meditation. Some people do it with yoga. Some people do it with physical activity, boxing for a lot of people, running for a lot of people. Some people will even play those brain games. There's a million of them right now. Some people will watch TV or a comfort food movie that we all revert to when we're sad or we want to decompress or whatever. Some people will play music because it brings you back to a time that you feel calm and secure. Whatever it is, I can't tell you what it is for you. You know better. But please do it every day. And then it could be several times a day. And it doesn't have to take long, but the same way that this thing updates, your Apple phone has been updated. This is kind of like a brain. I mean, why aren't we doing that with our own brain?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. And you should be looking after yourself, I mean, with nutrition and breathing. And because I find that sometimes it's easy to just forget about stuff, right? To not eat properly or to do whatever. And suddenly one day I think, whoa, my head's not feeling nice, or I didn't really respond very well to that. And then I realize, go back and you realize, you have to look after yourself every day. So you've got to eat properly. You've got to sleep. Yeah. Sleep is important. And you've got to meditate and do just to keep you calm, because there's so many things. We're bombarded with so many things all the time. So I agree with you.
Especially now, and somebody again, who hated the social media aspect of it, I can see how these, what they call influencers, can get really, really hooked. And you wonder, like, how can they be on their phone 24/7, every freaking moment of every day? And, again, I mean, from the time I wake up, I'm on this thing. I mean, my weekly report on my phone says, well, you've used, 98% more than last week. I'm like, huh? Oh yeah, the social media stuff. But I mean, I try very hard not to get on there and just like do the banter and the silliness and stuff like that. I mean, I got a sober community that I need to counsel. In addition to that, I have friends, but I'm finding that the positive messages or thought-provoking comments or stuff like that is really the stuff that everybody gravitates to.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot the breeze and stuff. Every once in a while, pick up the phone, talk to them directly. But I'll be the first one to tell you, I mean, what started out as like, I'll do this for an hour a day, is probably 4 hours early in the morning and maybe 4 to 5 hours at night, especially after hours, when everybody has, when darkness falls, that's when your mind starts racing, all kinds of fears and phobias. You don't have to be an addict to feel this way. I mean, you can have anxiety. I did. Night was the worst time for me.
Yes,
because you're alone with your thoughts and your demons, and you're just like, okay, now I got to figure out how to go to sleep. You can adjust your mind very, very quickly. I'm living proof. But you have to go and do the work to make that happen. Mm-hmm. For me, it was like I mentioned a lot of times on the show, deep diving into my psyche, just finding out what makes me tick. Going back to the earliest memories that I can remember, even the most minuscule times that then or in the past, I wouldn't have given it time of day.
Yeah.
But it's basically cause and effect. Maybe I feel this way now because of this that happened. And it's an exhausting exercise, but I carry on this scenario through and see if my theory holds up. For me, it's helped me immeasurably. Mm-hmm. I still am a firm believer in people going to counseling, firm believer in people calling 911 if they have to, or going to, professional therapy, that kind of stuff. But at the same time, your best therapist is you. And regardless of who you're seeing or not seeing, I mean, these are exercises everybody should be doing every day.
Mm. It's scary though. Sometimes people don't want to go down that road for whatever reason. So you a lot of times you need the support and the guidance of someone else to hold your hand. So like a counselor, or a counselor or a psychiatrist or whoever, life coach, whatever you do. Because you need that, because sometimes you go that far and then it's like, I'm not going down that road. So you need someone to just support you to.
These scars can be very, very real and very terrifying. I mean, I don't want to minimize that there's a lot of that out there. I mean, these simple things that we're talking about in no way should minimize people that really, really have these serious traumas.
Yes.
But I'm talking about in
yes.
general for the people that get up every morning and go to bed every night and have a job, or they have a career, or they have, whatever they're doing. These are little daily tips that pretty much help everybody. You know what I mean? And so it's very important. I mean, it's I didn't have these deep dives when, later on in my career, especially when I was really, really abusing alcohol heavily, because who's got time to think? And if you do think, you're thinking all these crazy thoughts, and most of it is paranoia, and it's not even real. So those deep dives are missing, and so my when you're clean and sober and you're coming out, I forgot to reboot my brain. It's been working on a, maybe a 5-10-year-old program that's never been updated.
Yeah.
If you look at it that way.
Yeah.
And so it makes sense. And that's why, Carina, when I wrote my book and everything, the book was really my fuel to keep me sober. It kept my mind focused. But I noticed, now that we're talking, when I finished my book, okay, and that, keeping busy and thinking about the book was over, then all I was left with is just, okay, I'm marketing and doing a book tour. And I used to tell you, an hour a day podcast isn't enough for me, right? And so the rest of the day, I was left just kind of like sitting idle. And I think one of the reasons why I freaked out is because the world to me was terrifying, this new world, because I didn't understand it. I didn't update my brain. I didn't do deep dives.
But also before, you weren't part of the world anyway, because you were anesthetized all the time. I mean, you were drinking how much vodka every day?
A lot.
Exactly. So, yeah. I mean, you were hiding behind the vodka. You were hiding behind the alcohol. You were hiding behind the drunkenness or whatever. So you couldn't be.
But I had a 40-year ride too, where your brain is stimulated morning, noon, and night. I mean, I used to get like 300 emails a day and about 100 calls a day. And that doesn't count the people who wanted to meet me for lunch, dinner, 5-minute meetings, 10-minute, all kinds of stuff. You're active, right? Yes. All of a sudden, to be that active while numb, yes, and then come out of it and you're active, you're excited, you finish a book in 7 months, which I think is fast. And then all of a sudden you're just like this.
Yeah.
Okay. The roller coaster's over. And then I look up and seriously, I mean, I joke about it now. I joked about it then, but it was terrifying. And I could see how people can be terrified of the what if. What if I go up and ask for this and I get rejected? What if, it's the same thing with me.
Yes.
I don't understand this world. How do I communicate with this new world? My way is old. I still believe in my way, but everybody communicates a different way. Am I relevant still? And so, I mean, all these questions come into your head, all these doubts in your head.
Yes.
That's one of the big reasons why I freaked out. And then only after I just kind of gathered my thoughts and said, I recognized what some of the problems were. Is isolation, as we discussed, right? Can work on your mind. But the other thing is interacting and reconnecting with family, and if it's not family, let's say close friends, true friends, let's put a better word for it. But where you can actually meet, forget COVID, forget all that stuff. I mean, I'm talking about like your core people, right? Your core group.
Yes.
Where you can actually meet and sit and chat and like they say down here, have a good visit. That's a good one.
Very good.
Yeah. But I mean, that actually is really, really, really important. And the other one is I had to face my fear of learning a new world, which I didn't want to, but I had to. If I needed a platform to be heard, I have to understand the new world and the way people communicate with each other. And I don't like it. I don't believe it's the only way, but I believe it's a big part of why the foundation and all these other things that I'm doing is successful, because you'll put it out there, on the internet for a lot of people to see. And I find that it works kind of like a commercial. Okay, let's go back to how old I am. All right, so a commercial, typically you see it 5 to 7 times before it sticks in your head.
Yeah,
where you can hum the theme, you remember the number, or actually you prompt, the time that you see it, it makes you pick up the phone and call for a service. Whatever the reason, it's usually 5 to 7 times. That's the old way. That's a commercial. That's you sitting on your couch, eating potato chips or whatever the hell else you're eating, and you're watching TV, and then the commercials always come on so many times that you remember it. So now you got memory recall. If you talk to your friends and they mention like My Pillow, the My Pillow guy, everybody knows him. If when the day comes that you need that pillow, you're going to remember My Pillow. That's what advertising does. The new advertising is through social media. It does the same exact thing, but it does it immediately, and it doesn't cost you $30,000 or $5,000 to shoot a commercial. Right. So if I don't hound somebody, if I don't bombard them every second of every day, but in a timely fashion, put out appropriate material, appropriate posts that tie in to your message, which never forget your message, which may include the book, it may include the foundation, it may include inspiration, it may include motivation. It's different for me every second of every day. But these posts are selected, they're deliberate, they're not just random stuff put up. Over time, these are my commercials, right? Over time, it's just like Mike Lindell and the My Pillow guys, right? They know, you feel bad? Oh, you got to go to rehab? Oh, you need help with this, and this? Go to Dino. I don't know how they find me, but they're finding it. So these are the new way commercials are. And everybody's doing it. They're all promoting themselves or their product or their service in some way, shape, or form. Some are better than others. Some are much more popular than others. But you're talking to a guy who just learned this wonderful new world that exists at the tip of your fingers, right?
Right.
So it's a cool thing. And everything that everybody does on the internet seems to come from a position of authority, to come as a message with confidence, with conviction, all that stuff. There's a lot of people out there, right? Yet, if you take the phone away and you take their posts away and you see the real deal, the real person, they are nothing like their posts.
Yes.
So the difference is, if I can sum this up and kind of wrap it, the difference is that if you're going to be confident through and through, it's got to be real. So in other words, you can take my watch away, you could take my wealth away, you could take my posts away, you could take my foundation away and my book and all the other things, right? And I can still walk into a bank and interact with somebody and get a deal done. That's the thing that's missing. All these other things they're not facade, but they're tools. They're should be extensions of you. But if you take them away, who are you? Are you still confident? Are you guys ready to hear this? I mean, this is deep, but that's my point. That's
the true wealth.
There's outward confidence, and there's confidence that's oozing out of your pores that comes from within, which is love, light, that kind of confidence. If you're really good and you take all of your toys away, will you still be really good? And the answer should be yes.
Yes.
There you go. I wrapped it up. Michael, bam! There you go. There's another one for the show.
Yes, and that's what I was saying earlier. It has to come from within. So, and that's the true wealth. That's true wealth. That is something that no one can take away from you, because they can take away your car, your house. Well, it can take away everything. I mean, but they can't take away that.
Right.
And that's something you learn. And
isn't that in your book, The Clank of Chains?
Yes, that's what it's about.
That's exactly right. Because they took away all your stuff, and the only thing that they couldn't take is your mind.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
There you go.
There's all.
Carina, that's a show. You see what I'm saying? Man. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. No, but I hope, it was a good subject. It was a good subject. I mean, it started out one way, but, again, just throwing out a word, you associate it with something else, and we just get deep and deep and deep and round, and we ended with promoting your book, which is a wonderful way to end this.
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Well, yes. So now, what I wanted to say, why today is so special? It's April, and I just wanted to say thank you, Dino. That 6 months ago you agreed to come onto my podcast, and we've been chatting for 6 months, and it's been awesome. 1 week's been better than the other.
6 months. Wow, that's a long time. That's a lot of shows, but you know what? I'm having a lot of fun, and the best shows are yet to come, because as soon as we figure out how to take this show on the road, we're going to be going to places, and we're going to be live streaming things that are pretty cool coming up, including me talking in front of my former rehab facility to 80 people in a room that are going through what I went through, and giving them each a book.
It's so cool.
It's going to be cool. And that's kind of breaking fear. That's kind of breaking boundaries. And, I mean, I think the best of the shows are yet to come. So I'm really happy. Yes. You guys stick around. Don't forget to share, comment, all that jazz. It's on the bottom of the show, I guess.
Yes. There's a lot of exciting things coming. So yes, and just subscribe, put it out there, and share it with your friends. And tell us what else you want to talk about, because we're having a lot of fun here. So I'm guessing that you're also enjoying the shows. So thank you, everyone. This has been Break Fear, Find Freedom with Carina and Dino, and we'll see you next week. Thank you. Thank you, Dino. It's been awesome.